guys, welcome back to Hair Dry Treatment with me, Soph. Richard's Ramble is back. It's been a while, but there seems to be a lot of topics that I can be talking about today, so I'm gonna dive right into them topics. Hi Wet Lettuce, I hope you're good. So yeah, I've got a lot of topics. You saw the list earlier on Twitter, but I'm sure you guys are chipping in with a lot more things to talk about as well. If you haven't watched Richard's Ramble before, basically we have a little chat about what's going on in the footballing world. I interact with you guys, and yeah, we have a bit of a debate about it, and it's all good fun. Everybody is on the same wavelength normally, no hating comments, and yeah, just a really good debate where I'm interacting with you guys and listening to some of your thoughts. So where else to start other than the wind topic? Now come on, we've heard some excuses so far from Klopp, but the wind yesterday got me. You've seen some of my tweets. I have taken the mickey a little bit, but in all seriousness now, we need to talk about this win because Klopp is coming up with all excuses under the sun now, isn't he? And what's he going to come up with next week? That's what I want to know. Because surely the wind affects Everton as well. How can you blame the wind for losing that game? He said it was coming from all directions. You know what? I want Stoke to get back in the Premier League just so Klopp can go to the Britannia and play against them there, because if he's complaining about the wind, then he needs to go and play it there, because honest to God, I don't know why he's blaming the wind. I don't know. I think Liverpool have bottled it now. Genuinely, I think they've bottled it. I think these excuses that he's coming up with are certifying that. But you can't deny the quality that Liverpool have got going forwards. You can't deny their style of football has been fantastic this season. But, you know, if they didn't have Van Dijk yesterday, I've got to admit, I think they would have conceded and maybe even lost that game. Van Dijk, if Liverpool do win the league, the reason for it will be because of Virgil van Dijk. For me, he's probably the best defender, definitely in the league, maybe even in the world right now. It seems anything that goes by him is just incredible. But in terms of Jurgen Klopp, what a joke. The wind cost us the game. And obviously he blamed Man United's injuries in the game against us. He said that the injuries disrupted their rhythm, and that's why they didn't beat us. And I'm just looking forward to the excuse next week, to be honest with you, because they're getting worse and worse by the minute, and that wind is getting worse and worse by the minute as well. So we shall see. But I wanted to start with that one because if you've seen my tweets, you will see that I found it quite funny. I'm not saying Klopp's not a good manager, Ganesh. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the excuses are just hilarious. Just imagine if Jose Mourinho would have come out and blamed the wind. I'm sure people would have been jumping on that bandwagon as well. So I'm not saying he's a bad manager. I'm just saying that it's a very odd and a very funny excuse. Why not come out and admit that you were lucky to even get a draw? Virgil van Dijk and Alisson did make some saves as well in that game. And Liverpool just weren't up to it, and they haven't looked up to it now for a few weeks. Next topic, I'm going to move on because I've had my say on the wind now and you've seen my tweets. I think I've taken the mickey enough now. I'm going to leave that on there, but I'm going to move on to the topic which has seemed to have come up today, really. Alexis Sanchez. Now, there's been a big debate over him, obviously, for a while since he's been at United. He hasn't been the same player that we witnessed at Arsenal. That's definitely true. He's injured. He's out for 6 to 8 weeks, so possibly season over for him. Is that his time up now for United? Do we think that's Sanchez done? Because obviously he hasn't fulfilled his potential. He hasn't. I was hoping that under Solskjaer he would show some of his old form at Arsenal. Now he's given a bit more freedom, but he's still sticking to the same habits where he's cutting inside. He's playing far too narrow, I should say. He's not sticking out wide, which affects the rest of the team. It proved when he went off the other day we were a better team without him. And I'm not saying he's not a good player, but he obviously isn't United quality anymore. And I spoke to Robbie Loyal of Arsenal Fan TV when I was with him last week, and I said, Alexis Sanchez, what is your opinion on him? And he said, to be honest with you, when I was at United, he knows someone who's something to do with the club, someone who was involved in training. I'm not sure who this guy is, but he said that watch him, he always gives the ball away. And Robbie said, so next game I watched him and it was true, he was always giving the ball away, but because he showed the hunger that he was trying to win the ball back, and we all know Sanchez to be the work ethic, to be the bulldog, if you like, the guy who's always trying to win the ball back, it kind of overshadowed the fact that he was often giving the ball away. And so he was saying that even though on the ball, yes, he can be very good, he was the player at Arsenal who was giving the ball away the most, and that's made me look at Sanchez in a different light since I've been watching him. And you know what, it's true, it doesn't really look like he's going to make anything happen. He's always cutting inside and trying that little dink, as I always say. but he's just not the same player anymore. And I think it's a shame, really. I think you never see him run directly at a player and try and beat a man on the outside. And I think that's down to the fact that he's lost the art of pace. He doesn't feel confident in doing that anymore, and it makes him very predictable as a player. And I think that's why. He's not made it at United. I think he's finished really in terms of United quality, United standard of the team. Maybe he needs to drop down a few levels, but it doesn't look like he can fulfil the role of a winger, if you like, especially at Man United. So disappointing, and I think the injury now is a big shame as well. But I was praying that it worked out for him under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and it just doesn't seem to be that way, and it's a shame, obviously. And of course, you don't wish injury on any player. I'm sad that he's injured as well, but I can't see him bouncing back from this injury and making himself. Hopefully I'm wrong, but yeah. Next topic is Sancho. There's rumours that 100 million is what people want for him, basically. Dortmund want 100 million. United apparently are interested in paying that £100 million. Would you take him at United? Do you think he answers our questions on the right hand side? Well, Mr. Exclusive, thank you so much for that donation. He says he doesn't have anything to say. He hopes I'm well, and please subscribe to the hairdryer treatment. So thank you very much, Mr. Exclusive. That really does mean a lot. Back to Sancho then. Yes or no? Would you take him at United? Is he worth that money? He's definitely a big risk. Zaha and Wan-Bissaka has attracted interest from Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich. I am not surprised, because they are both very exciting players, I must admit, especially Wan-Bissaka, one of the best right backs around at the minute. I think he is superb. But in terms of Sancho, I've got to say, you know what, I think he's very talented. That is a lot of money though. Is he worth that risk? That's what we need to be thinking. When I think about the kind of money that we paid for the likes of Lukaku, and obviously Pogba as well, the transfer market is crazy, and people are spending ridiculous money. If you look at the amount that Chelsea paid for Kepa as well, prices are absolutely stupid, let's face it. Sancho is young, he's obviously English, but 100 million is a lot of money. I'm just hoping he's not like the typical English hyped up player. I think the move to Dortmund was a fantastic move for him. He's obviously getting more game time. But I think 100 million is mad money. People are saying he's worth it. Some people are saying he's not. And I'm just worried that it's going to be this overhyped player. Remember Walcott when he first came on the scene? And I'm not saying he's on the same level as Walcott or anything like that, but I'm just saying that when a young English player makes it on the scene and they're playing well, they get hyped up, and it's something in this country that always happens. And then they turn out not to be as good as we first predicted, and it always happens. And I'm just worried that Sancho is going to turn out like that. Now, when I watched them against Spurs, first few minutes Sancho looked really bright. And to be fair, out of the Dortmund team, I think he was the one bright spot that they had, which is obviously promising because Dortmund were poor that night. But I don't know if it's worth that money. I know it's hard to say, but I think I need to see more of Sancho. And when he's playing out there in Dortmund, it's hard to obviously see more of Sancho, and hard to compare their level as well. But I personally, I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to say I think 100 million is a lot. I think it's a lot, and I think if he wasn't English, he definitely wouldn't be going for that kind of price. So I think he's far too expensive. Am I saying I don't want Sancho at United? No. But I'm saying that I wouldn't pay that price for him, because I think that is ridiculous money. I've seen a lot of people just talking about Chong and saying, is he ready yet? I don't think he's ready yet. I think he's a very exciting player. I hope he gets some. I'm hearing that he's in the squad for the game against PSG. And not only just in the squad, I'm hearing that they're going to be on the bench. So I'm hoping that we get to see another glimpse of Chong. I haven't seen enough of him. Obviously, we've seen enough of him at youth level, but we need to see him in the first team more and more. And I'm hoping Solskjaer will give him the chance to prove himself first team. So I don't think he's ready yet, but I'm basing that purely on the fact that I haven't seen enough of him to say he's not ready yet. He's definitely got potential, but he needs that game time in order to improve. And that's why I rate Sancho for moving to Dortmund, because he's playing more and more first team football. Sophie's not worth it. Chelsea only paying 60 million for Pulisic, yeah. Do you think that he's a similar level to Pulisic, or is Pulisic better? Who would you say is worth more? Right now, Sancho obviously is killing it, but I'm just really concerned on that price tag. Just because him being English, that price tag gets bumped up, and we overhype English players all the time, and I don't want that to happen with him. I think he did the right thing moving abroad because he gets more game time, and obviously he's made him more of a high profile player. But yeah, that's my opinion on him anyway. Next, who else am I going to talk about other than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now? He's been fantastic. He's made the atmosphere around United so much better, so much more positive. You've only got to try and get tickets for games now and it's near impossible. But even the atmosphere at the game's fantastic. And Ollie has done that. He's put smiles on people's faces. The football has improved massively as well. Do we think Ollie should get the job full time? Hi Ryan, I hope you're good. But do we think Ollie should get the job full time? Thank you so much, Mobius Drummer, for that donation. Super chat, fantastic. Go to Hudson-Odoi, more gettable, and he will leave soon. Hudson-Odoi I feel for because Chelsea have been struggling going forward now. Willian hasn't been cutting it. I think Hudson-Odoi is a fantastic talent and he's not a bad shape, but I just think Chelsea will rip us off for him. I really think they will. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, for me, he's definitely got to have the job now. I'm hearing, and I'm not sure how true this is, but I'm hearing that he's been in the video for the season ticket promo for next season, which tells me that maybe he is getting the job. But yeah, for me, it's a no-brainer. Why not give the guy the job? He's United through and through. He's already achieved more than what we expected him to achieve as manager. Players are playing for him. The fans absolutely adore the guy. And like I say, he's United through and through, so it's a bit of a no-brainer for me. I know we've got to trust him now to make the right decisions in terms of transfers and things like that, which is a big risk, and I completely get that. But I haven't felt this positive about United for a while. I really haven't. Fergie, obviously, was the last time we felt this positive. And he's just brought that positivity, he's brought that United feeling back. And yeah, for me, he's got to be given the job, and I think if he's not given the job, there will be an absolute uproar because Man United fans want him to get the job. No doubt about that now. He's answered all his critics saying we haven't really played anyone and all that. He's answered all that, and I saw someone tweeting nonsense earlier saying that, oh, we'll just wait till Solskjaer loses a game and then loses another and then loses another. Solskjaer already lost the game, and then we went to Stamford Bridge and he got the result there. So for me, he's answered all his critics. There's nothing else we can throw at him now other than maybe a transfer market to see if he gets the right players, but I would definitely employ Ollie now full time. Is it windy, says Mohammed? Very windy, and it's coming from all directions, I tell you now. Started buying a house apparently. Yeah, I heard that rumour as well, Mr. Exclusive. Apparently he's already started looking for a house around obviously the Manchester area, which again tells us that he's planning to stay here long term, and fingers crossed that is true. Do you think Klopp should swap Mane on the wings with Salah? I think that just said then. Salah, I think, has been, last few games I've seen him anyway, I think he seemed a bit off the pace. I don't know if he's tired. He's looked a shadow of the player that we know from Mohamed Salah, really. I think Mane has been quality. But Salah, and he missed a few chances obviously yesterday as well. And his decision making at times is questionable. I'm not saying I don't like Salah because I think he's an absolutely awesome player, but I think maybe he's a bit tired. I said the same about Rashford the other day. Rashford looked rusty, he looked tired as well, and maybe it's the same for Salah. Maybe he just needs a bit of a rest. Hey, so if I miss you on the United stand, I'm sure I'll be giving some time on there soon. Obviously Mark has to contact me to go on there. I'm not contracted on there. So whenever I'm asked, I'm definitely up for going back on the United stand. What do you think of the Bale rumours? I don't want Gareth Bale at United. Too injury prone. I don't want him at United. Do you think we could take a punt on Chong and Greenwood at right wing next season? I need to see more of them in the first team before I make that decision. Definitely excited about the prospect of them being at United and playing in the first team, but I definitely need to see more of them in first team. Danny Brown says, does the Pogba run annoy you? I'm not going to swear, but does the Pogba run annoy you? When he misses a penalty, yes, it annoys me. And I felt really sorry for Lukaku the other day. I think, you know what? If you're on a hat-trick and you're taking a penalty, if you're on a hat-trick and your captain's taking a penalty, you're thinking you best score that now, and he obviously didn't score. And I'd like to see what the reaction was in the dressing rooms afterwards. I'd like to see if Pogba actually went and apologised to him, or if Lukaku was a bit annoyed with him. Because I would be, if I was Lukaku, I'd be annoyed with him because I want that hat-trick, and it was just purely selfish from Pogba, wasn't it? So Lukaku apparently said that he wanted Pogba to take it. Do you truly believe that? If Lukaku is a striker at the end of the day, and strikers want to get goals, so I don't fully believe that he wanted that penalty. But that's the way it goes, isn't it? I think Pogba's captain. Well, Pogba obviously he's not captain, but he's penalty taker. He's that captain material, you could say. He's apparently the leader in the dressing room, and he's got a big voice, and so they will listen to Pogba. So you can't blame Lukaku really for letting Pogba take it. However, if I was Pogba in that position, I think you should have the decency to say, you know what, Rom, go and get your hat-trick. You need the confidence. And yeah, but that's the way it goes. Massive games this week as well, obviously. Champions League games. I've already mentioned PSG, obviously, against United. Massive game. Am I expecting us to perform a miracle there? No. But can we? Of course we can. Like, Ole's at the wheel at the end of the day. We're going to have another unpredictable team. PSG will know more about Pogba and players like that rather than the likes of McTominay, maybe even Freddie if he comes in. Players who haven't really played, so we might play a different system. So PSG will be a bit baffled by the team that Ole is going to be putting out. So I think that is a good... That's one positive to having so many injuries, is the fact that they won't fully know the true strength of our team. They won't know about the players who may be playing. So yeah, thank you, Chris. I really appreciate you subscribing. But yeah, I think, am I fully expecting a miracle? No. But can it happen? Of course it can. And I'm keeping that bit of positivity. Turin, obviously, I want feelings of that again, that unexpected win. Massive game for us, let's face it. But if we go out, it's not the end of the world. We're not going to win the Champions League. We can focus then on getting, obviously, top 4. But of course, we're inside, we're all praying and hoping that we can achieve something. Fingers crossed for that one. But I'm not expecting massive things. But yeah, we'll stay positive. Ole's at the wheel, who knows what will happen. And the other games, obviously, we've got Dortmund against Spurs. What are you guys predicting about that one? Because Spurs, first leg, with a better team. Dortmund, I thought, looked sloppy. But obviously, going to Dortmund is a massive challenge. And I think if Spurs go through, it's a really big achievement for them. I think with Harry Kane in the team at the minute now, and this is going to sound stupid, I reckon, but I think they look worse with Harry Kane in the team at the minute, Spurs. It's almost like the two reliant on him, get the ball to Kane, and that's what they're trying to do. They're relying on him to get the goals. Son has looked a bit sloppy since Kane's come back, whether it's because the limelight has now been taken out to Son because he's carried Spurs for the last few weeks while Kane's been out, I don't know. But I just think they look really bad with Kane in there at the minute. I don't know what it is, whether it's psychological, I'm not sure what it is, but obviously they'll be looking to bounce back. Spurs got really lucky against Arsenal, obviously missing a penalty in the last few minutes. Massive thing in the North London derby, which I was going to talk about at the minute, but I feel like they've lost a bit of chemistry. Ryan's just said the same word there. Great minds think alike, but yeah, they look like Son has kind of dipped in form since Kane's come back, and Son was the one player who was carrying Spurs a little bit. So I think now that he's out of form, then yeah. I saw someone mention just about, am I doing a preview before the Wolves game? Hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be at the Wolves game, but I will be doing a preview, yes. And I will get my dad on the channel as well, because as you all know, my dad is a massive Wolves fan. We've already got the banter going on. He started on Twitter the other night. You may have seen a few tweets. He sent me a picture of Nuno smiling and saying this is Nuno's face when he sees Lukaku trying to control the ball and things like that. And I sent him one back of a little girl trying to catch a ball and missing it and saying that was Patricio. But yeah, the banter's already started between me and my dad, and that should be a really enjoyable video. So definitely my dad will come on the channel and we'll do a preview before that Wolves game. And that is going to be a massive game, definitely. I said that Kane should have stayed on the bench against Burnley, then they would have won. Yeah, you're probably right, Andrew, to be fair. Like I say, he seems to have negatively affected them. Whether it's because they finally found a way of playing without Kane. Obviously, they had to find a way of playing without Kane because he had been so prolific at the start of the season, and now he's come back in and they're kind of trying to get back into the swing of playing with Kane. I'm not sure what it is, but it's like they're always aiming to get it to Harry Kane, and that is affecting their play. They look kind of... The other day I thought against Arsenal, they looked like they ran out of ideas. Eriksen woeful as well. And they looked like they were constantly trying to play through the middle at Harry Kane. And that's not always the way that he should play, is it? So definitely it's affected them. Maybe it's me looking into things a bit too deeply, but it's definitely affected them, and I think not for the better, but for the worse. Andrew said, am I turning up for the United stand trials? I'm not. I have spoken to Mark and I said, look, like, as you know, I already play every week anyway. But but I've said like, I really want to play a part, I want to get involved, and he said maybe for any tournaments and things like that, then I can get involved, but he needs players who are going to be there week in, week out, which I completely get. So I will be playing some games, but I won't be there week in, week out. Darian, I appreciate that, thank you very much. As usual, your help is much appreciated. Dortmund get an early goal, then I find it difficult. Yeah, Dortmund, if they get an early goal, Spurs will find it difficult to get back into it, definitely. But it's going to be hard for Spurs to keep Dortmund on lockdown, definitely, especially being away. So that should be an interesting time. Looking forward to that one. I predict Dortmund to go through. I really do. That's my prediction on that one anyway. But let me know what you guys think. But I think Dortmund will still make it through in that draw. Right, vlogging was the next one. I've seen lots of tweets of people going mad about vloggers in stadiums. Those guys who stand with a phone and record themselves reacting to the game. Now, personally, I'm going to put this out there. Like, I don't have a problem with people who vlog. Each to their own at the end of the day. People absolutely hate me for doing this now, or people absolutely hate me for being on fan cams, and that's just the way it is. Like, each to their own at the end of the day. I have no problem with it. But one thing I will say is, I don't know how vloggers do it, because if I'm in a stadium, I have to be watching the game. No way can I multitask and be holding a phone at me whilst the game's going on in the background. I need to be purely focused on watching the game, and that's my genuine opinion. And you know what, people who rage about it and go on about it, I don't think we need to do that. I think each to their own at the end of the day. If they want to vlog, let them vlog, let them get on with it. Not for me personally, but I wouldn't go and swear at people and go and insult people purely based on that, because it's them to them at the end of the day. How many people do you see in the crowd on pictures nowadays where they've got their phones up? It happens absolutely everywhere, and I think it's like a generation thing. I think it's just happening, especially if you've got tourists in the stadium. Obviously at Old Trafford we see that a lot, but a lot of tourists who have got their phones and they are recording what's going on and stuff like that. I think it's just the way the times have changed, and there's a lot of old top reds obviously who are kicking off and going mad and saying this shouldn't happen in stadiums, you're absolute muppets and all this. But I just think, you know what, each to their own, and if they want to vlog, let them vlog. Personally, I couldn't do it. Physically, I could not do it because I'd be too enticed in the game. I'd end up recording the guy behind me or something because I'd be too engrossed in what's going on. So personally, it's not for me. I wouldn't do it. But fair play, if you want to vlog, you go and vlog, and don't let people put you down for it because it's your preference. And I can get why they do, because like the other day, if it's a late goal or it's a comeback and you're recording the footage, that's some decent footage. It's memories, isn't it? And fair play. But another super chat, Alex, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hi Selfie, doing another video on different types of football fans. Also, do you think Spurs will drop out to the top 4 based on form? Now, I will be doing another different types of football fans video, because vloggers need to come into that now, don't they? They need to come into that category, and I already know there's a lot of people who follow me who do vlog, and fair play to you guys. You keep doing that if that's what you want to do. So I will be doing another video, yes. And do I think that Spurs are going to drop out of the top 4? I do. I think we now, United, should be going for top 3 personally. I think the momentum is with us. It's not with Spurs at the minute. We obviously need to beat Arsenal at the weekend. A massive challenge there. If we beat Arsenal, I think we should be looking there for top 3. That's what I want to be aiming for. And I think Spurs will slip out of it, yes. RB.com says, did I see the banner that I sent you? I don't think I did, so I'll check that out. Andrew says, I truly think that you were good enough to play for Man United, ladies. Thank you very much, Andrew. I appreciate that. On Friday, guys, I am going to be doing a preview. You're mentioning, obviously, United ladies there. Do any of you guys know Natalie, who obviously is part of the Barmy Army, who goes to watch United ladies play? She's currently on her way to Paris, actually, for the United men's game tomorrow. But Natalie is going to be coming onto my channel on Friday, fingers crossed, to do a preview with me for the Arsenal game. That will be live, so that should be very interesting, and another special guest that I'm going to get on, so should be really fun filming that one. Someone asked if I'm playing FIFA. That will be on Wednesday, so I'll do that from 6 till 7 on Wednesday, before obviously the build up to the game. So it should be a nice little build up for the game on Wednesday. And if you watched last week's episode, you will know that I am playing Liverpool in the first game, so a massive test for me. Solskjaer in my career mode on FIFA, so keep your eyes peeled for that one on Wednesday. Offsidegraphics.com, doing 10% off everything for a month. Yeah, go and check out. Look in the background, Matthew. I was hoping you'd tune in. I'm going to lift this up so you can see. I've got George Best and Rashford there, posters. Matthew McFadden, obviously, I've got him on Twitter. I'll give you a shout out in a minute as well, Matthew. But offsidegraphics.com. Go and check out his work because he's absolutely fantastic, and he kindly did these posters for me as well. So yeah, go and check out his store. Andrew says, when are we going to play FIFA against each other, Sophie? I tell you what, Andrew, keep your eyes peeled, because I promise you that at some point I'm going to do a series where I'm playing against some of my subscribers, because I think that'll be a really, really good laugh. Hopefully I don't get battered too much by some of you guys who may buff off FIFA all the time, because you've seen that I'm still pretty new to it, but I'm doing alright. I do play Ultimate Team, yes. But we'll do a series where I'm playing against, maybe I'll get like an application process where people can apply to play against me in the next episode, and so on and so forth, and we'll do it like that. So keep your eyes peeled. That is definitely, that is in the pipeline. Maybe after I finish my career mode we can get that series going, but you can challenge Solskjaer. How does that sound? But that'll be really exciting, definitely. Last topic, North London derby. I've already touched on it. Aubameyang missing the penalty. I did a tweet saying, as a player, I felt a bit sorry for him. I did, because I hate taking penalties personally. Like I'm not a penalty taker. I hate it. And to be in derby like that, he obviously loves Arsenal, and miss the penalty. He must have felt awful. And I kind of felt for him. And then people were saying, "Oh, why are you cheering for Arsenal?" Like, I wasn't cheering for Arsenal. I'm saying, as a player, I kind of felt a bit sorry for him. However, am I glad he missed? Of course I'm glad he missed. And of course a draw was the best result possible for us. So I'm over the moon that he missed. And to be honest, I don't even think it was a penalty. So I think it was justice. I was just saying, on a personal level, as a player, I felt a bit sorry for him. But in terms of the draw, I thought fantastic result for us. The best way that derby could have possibly gone. And it was quite funny the way that it happened as well, because I've seen the Arsenal Fan TV reactions and that did make me laugh. To the penalty miss, but I was just talking about it on a personal level. Yeah, there you go. Offsidegraphics.com is there for the posters. Go and check them out. He does all teams, not just United, and all players as well. So, and I'm sure if you made a request, Matthew would be there, willing to listen as well. But go and check them out. Definitely really good work. Right, guys, Richard's Ramble. This is the first one I've done for ages, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Someone just said, would you get rid of Lukaku? I would. You know, Lukaku, to be honest with you, I slate him enough, and I've always said credit where it's due. Last 2 games, Lukaku has won the game for us, and that's what we need from him. We need him to put the ball in the net when we need it most, and he's done that, so you've got to give him credit. His hold-up play is abysmal, and I can't even watch him try and control a ball because it makes my eyes bleed. But he's finished, and the last 2 games, when we've had injuries, we've needed him to step up, and he has done. So in all fairness, Lukaku, Romelu Lukaku, you've got a big thumbs up from me, because you've stepped up when we needed you to the most. So he's in my good books at the minute, and that's all I'm going to say. I've always said he can finish, he can definitely finish, but his control is not good enough, and his link-up play is not good enough for United, and I still stick to that. However, his goals last 2 games have been vitally important, so fair play to him. Yeah, exactly, his general play isn't good enough, and I still stick to that, definitely. Lukaku taking his chances, unlike Sanchez. Yeah, well, Sanchez obviously is out of the picture now for a while. I like the Newcastle striker they signed in January. Yes, he looks very, very talented. He also looks like the geezer from Goal, the film, as well. He looks just like him. But he does look very talented. Yes, I agree. Lukaku has a right foot. Who knew it? He has a right foot, unlike Salah. Yeah, guys, really enjoyable. I've loved doing the Richard's Ramble. If I haven't answered your questions, I don't mean to miss them out, so just drop a comment on the video and I will respond to them. If you haven't subscribed to Hairdryer Treatment, please make sure you do that, because I really appreciate it. And super chats, thank you so much. I've never had so many super chats, so I really appreciate that. Guys, I hope you have a lovely evening. I will be back live on Wednesday for Solskjaer Career Mode episode 9. Really excited for that. Preview for the Arsenal game will be out on Friday as well. But cheers guys for tuning in. Have a lovely evening. Take care. Bye.